Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to our take on it. Hold on, I had some echo here. Let me see if I can get that out of. How's that? Okay. Seemed like I had sort of like I was in an echo chamber, and I got this
Over here.
sound pad here that sort of, if I hit the wrong button, it's going to come out funny. But welcome, everybody. Welcome to our take on it, featuring Slim and Shona. Here we are on our regular Tuesday evening, and we hope you all join us tonight. And we're going to have discussion. And later on, we'll talk about a special show we're having tomorrow night, and with a special guest. Hope you will remember when we had her on before. But we'll talk about that a little later. You have to stay online. You have to stay with the video to find out who that special guest is and what we're going to talk
Stay
about.
with us.
Yes. So, Shona, how you doing?
Well, James, I am doing absolutely fantastic. Um, I had a wonderful Mother's Day with my children. Speaking of which, I have to give a special shout out. Ask me who I'm shouting out to.
Okay, I
Okay,
was I was kind of testing your volume
can you hear
on the
me?
big screen over here, and
Okay,
it seemed like it's a little low. I want when
okay.
whoever's watching, if you can tell me if Shauna's volume is a little
Let's try
low.
this again. I'm up close and personal.
Okay, I think that might be coming off a little better. But anyway,
Okay.
we are here with you all tonight, and we're going to have a conversation. And Shona, what's the big news in Atlanta and hot Atlanta? I know everything. I
I
guess you
must
could just
tell you, I
go ahead.
have to give a big shout out. I need to make sure that I am speaking loudly because I'd like to give a big shout out to Mrs. Elise Latoya Swinson Hutchinson, who is my middle child. She has earned a degree.
Oh wow!
Um, it is a step above master's, a step below doctorate, and I am so very, very proud of her. I spoke with her, and she said that she doesn't want to go for her doctorate because she's tired of going to school. But I want her to know whether she gets that doctorate or not, that I could not be more proud of her. Success is not only measured by your achievement, but also by that which you had to endure and overcome to get there. And that having been said, uh, I I t- I'm holding up my glass of iced tea, which is the bomb diggity, by the way, uh, to my daughter. And I'd like to say that success is not only measured by your achievement, but that which you had to overcome to get there. And that having been said, I have the utmost respect for her as a woman, and I am so super super proud as her mother.
Well, wow, yeah, congratulations to her, and I can understand her wanting to take a break in between. I've known very few people. Had a neighbor down the street from us that once she went to college, she never came back home because she stayed on track and got her doctorate, and was one of the youngest ones because she just stayed there. Some people take a break. Like my daughter is still working on hers. And but now it's a little bit more difficult with her daughter and everything. But she's pretty close to
Yes.
it, so she's going to get there. And congratulations to all the other
Yeah.
grads. A lot of schools. I know Norfolk State did, Virginia Union did, North Carolina A&T, and probably a lot of other uh, schools graduated this weekend, and going forward, a lot of other schools will be graduating. But congratulations to you. I know it wasn't easy. College life is challenging. It's fun. You just have to be focused on your priorities and what comes first. But have a good time, y'all. It's all a part of that college
Hey,
experience. But just make
get
sure that you're focused.
yes, get this. Her oldest child is in college, okay?
Oh, wow. It's amazing to
And
be in college. That it's never too late because you see people going back to college in the 70s. I mean, when I was younger, it was people my age going back to college and they might have been retired. It was a personal journey for them, for them to finish. They weren't going back so they could get a new job or something like that, but it was a personal thing that they could finish. Even in high school, you see adults in high school uh,
yes.
going back
Ooh,
to make sure.
I tip my hat to them. It's a
Yes,
lot.
indeed. It had to be difficult in high school and you're still working and you're in there. You think about going to college and sitting in there with students much younger than you because I did that. Went back and took some classes and uh, it was intimidating at first because I said, what are they going to think? And it was like I wasn't even there. I mean, I was one of them. They just, appreciated or respected the fact that I came back and they thought I knew a lot. So I said, no, don't cheat on my paper. But no, they won't cheat. But it has to be something, especially in high school because they're even younger. I mean, you got 15, 16-year old and you're back in class. So hats off to them too. But the graduates that came out this year, life is challenging. It always has been, but even more so now for uh, certain segments of our society, going out there in the world and trying to find a job that things might not be as equal as they get rid of DEI, thinking it's unfair, but all it
Yeah,
did was give people a fair chance. You're still not going to get hired if you're not qualified, and
that's
that's what
right.
they don't understand. They just felt like it's something they needed to get rid of because you know, but it is what it is right now. But we just have to keep on keep on fighting and keep on voting
Yes.
because
Yes.
that's about all we have now, Shona.
We
Right now.
must. That's all we have. And we have to vote. It is so very, very important. I know we say this every time um, an election comes around, but it's even more important than it has ever been.
Yeah,
And
and
we're
we
just going
can't
to
say
drive
it
that.
enough. And you and I are of a certain age that our parents really let us know. It's like uh, in it's in our system. We don't even as we got older in high school, we didn't even question it because at a very young age, they would take us to the polls with them, and even though we couldn't vote, but just to show, this is. And I think they were proud to do that because they weren't too far removed from either not being able to vote or having to pay poll tax
Exactly.
or guess these ridiculous questions in order to vote.
We have not always had the right, and we had
Right.
to fight hard to get it. So we have got to utilize that power. And if you don't think your vote counts, you are dead wrong because it does.
You remember the show that we had a few weeks ago, and I was talking about what was going on here in Virginia. By the way, if you're new watching, I'm here in Virginia, Portsmouth, Virginia, and Shona's in Atlanta, Georgia, uh, Atlanta, GA, and I'm in Portsmouth, VA. So, but we were talking, and I think it was the night that they were voting here in Virginia to 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 sort of challenge the laws that and I'll say the Republicans have put in trying to redistrict everything in their favor. So it's been going on for years. So the legislators here in Virginia put together a package. Louis Lucas, Senator Lucas, and Don Scott, Speaker of the House, and other prominent Democrats throughout the state of Virginia put together uh, a referendum where they put it out to the people to vote on it, which is, I think, is quite fair to do that. Let's see what the people want. And that's what
Yes.
democracy is all about,
It's
what
about.
the people want, and uh, the Republicans have been sort of, taking it on their own and making those decisions without the people's in certain states. So here in Virginia and some other states throughout California started it off with their referendum, and the people voted to make the changes. So we did it here, but totally about 3 million people voted. 3 million people voted, and it was like 1 million and something said yes, and and it was a narrow margin, but democracy says the majority of the votes win. And you remember when I was talking to you, I was saying I was watching the tally and come in. I said, "Oh wow, it doesn't look good right now, but we're waiting until it's over." And then before the night was over, the yes votes had it, and we were kind of happy about that. And then here comes the challenge, you know, uh, and it went to the Supreme Court. And first, they put a stay on it, that they just stopped the process from happening, even though the people had decided this is what they wanted. And then it went back to the Supreme Court uh, a week or so later. And usually they don't make a decision like that quickly, but they quickly made a decision to overrule what the people uh, had decided they wanted. And what do you think about that? I mean, and that's why we already have a problem trying to get people to vote those ones that don't think their vote counts. And then
Yeah.
something like this happens, and then it makes it even more. We have to double down a little harder to convince the people, okay, this happened. They overruled our vote, but we still have to continue to vote, or we'll get further behind. I mean,
Yes. You can't win if you don't fight.
right.
It's impossible. You cannot win if you don't fight. And as the saying goes, it ain't over until it's over.
Yes. And you there in Georgia, and it has challenges in Georgia for uh, the last 10 years as far as people there trying to make it fair. Just make it
This
fair.
is
Just give
a
me the opportunities.
yes,
Yeah.
this is a very important race for governor here in Georgia.
Yeah,
So
that should be interesting how that's going to go.
s-
But you
you
see
have
things
to
like,
vote.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say you have to vote. It's
And you
imperative.
see things like that, what happened here in Virginia and other states, and how fast they're moving. And all these moves have been going on for a long time, but a lot of it has to do with the midterms and what's going on with the administration now not being as popular, and gas prices are high, food prices are high, everything is kind of crazy, and they know they would have a problem if midterms they will lose whatever. I was Somebody left a note. Okay, um, yeah, they knew they would have a problem. So, but
Yeah, if they lose whatever Republican advantage that they have now, it's important to them to try to keep us down. Uh, but we have to vote. We have to vote.
that's the key. But yeah, just don't be discouraged. I mean, that's the only fighting tool we have. One of them. Another tool is an economic boycott. But it works sometimes. I mean, Target it got
Yeah,
Target to change some things, even though it's hard to get people these days to go 100% if you want to boycott. But you don't always need 100% of the people.
that's true.
Back in the civil rights movement, the bus boycott didn't have everybody, but it was enough people that didn't ride that really hurt them financially. So that's another tool we have. We can hurt people financially, because our dollars count. And us as black people, we spend. We are very big consumers of everything.
Yes.
I wanted
So
to,
I was going back to Mother's Day.
yeah,
We're just
something
flip
a little
flop.
light.
Um, for Mother's Day, I know that my mother is no longer here. How did you feel on Mother's Day? Do you get become melancholy when you no longer have your mother with you?
Yeah, I think about her, and like I do every day, but I think about her. But it's been a long time now. She passed away in like 2002, and it's been a while now. And having my wife and my daughter, who's a mother now, to focus on, it's not as hard to deal with. And I know it's still pretty fresh with you, hadn't been that long, and you never really forget it. It can be 40 years, and you always think about your mother every day, but especially on those days that are dedicated to her. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to say I've gotten used to her not being here. I just want to say I know how to celebrate her in a way that it doesn't make me really sad. I think about all the good things, all the things she taught me, and all those times when I was right up under, all guys are mothers' boys. We all are, and some of us might not admit it, but at a certain age, and some of us stay around a little too long, but even when we're grown, we're still mama's boy. You know.
I think that's probably because of your gender. You're taught to protect women,
Hmm.
and she being that first woman in your life to protect, you always have that feeling for her.
Yeah.
So you have to be in tune with her more so, I would think, or differently from females, daughters do, because men protect women. They just naturally protect women. And when I say naturally, that's I can use that literally because I just want to give an example of once when my son must have been about maybe 9 or 10. We were here in Atlanta, and um, I raised him, without his father in his life. And there was someone who came to my front door to visit. So I let them in and we visited and everything. And after a while, I noticed that my purse was missing. Like,
Mm.
where's my purse? So lo and behold, my son told me he had put it in the closet because he was just trying to protect my property. When someone came to the door, he would always put my purse out of sight. And I thought that was really strange because that's not something that I taught him. There was no man in his life to teach him that. He was just very protective, naturally protective of me, and what I had, I guess. But I said that to reiterate that boys are very protective of their mother.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And
You
that's a
really, and you know
distinction.
what used to be strange growing up? You remember all the mama jokes? I guess especially around the guys would do it around each other, and it was certain people could do it and get away with it, but it was certain people they would say something they couldn't even get it out. Your mom and pop in the face, but most of the time it was like playing a dozen. Like your mama wears army boots, or your mama's is this and that, and it's just strange how some people sometimes you let people get away with it, and other times you better not talk about my mama. Yeah.
Most of the times not, because yeah, men and boys are very protective of their mothers. Period. Their mothers and
Democrats in Virginia are asking that question after the state.
Sorry.
you
It,
you
it,
can't say anything about either one of them. They get very very overly sensitive, actually, if you say anything about their mother or their wife.
Yeah, and that goes on for a long time, and that's why in some cases, uh, daughter-in-laws have problems with their mother, their mother-in-law, because they feel like, oh, you're paying a lot more attention, and you're not going to get that guy to not be concerned about his mother. Even some nights, if she's alone, he might. I'm going over here and stay. And it's just something that most people learn to adjust to it, and some people it causes problems, but it's kind of hard. And on the other hand, girls with their dads, you know,
Yeah,
uh, are
that's
very.
the
I
universal.
don't know if protective is the word. It's just attachment to your dad, and that girls just have that special attachment to your dad because one thing you all know how to melt us. Is that if you have sons and daughters, you see the difference. The way a dad treats his sons and the daughter. He gets everything, and the sons he raised them in a different way.
Because
And if he
girls
has all girls, he turns them into baseball and basketball players. To for that void that might be there, but it's just
yeah,
all around thing, and we just appreciate our mothers are just so you know uh, they they just love you regardless. Mothers will
it's that
defend
unconditional love.
almost anything that a son does, uh,
Yeah,
uh, and maybe not defend everything if he does something wrong, but she will
right.
be there for him.
Yes.
Even if he did something wrong, and she knows that he might have to pay the price of what he did wrong, but she's not gonna turn her back on my son.
Well, actually, I feel that way about my girls too.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be this. Yeah, it'll be the same thing, and pretty much it's a mother thing. It's a motherly nurturing thing, and fathers feel that way too. But it's a little different with the mothers. The mothers, it's
Well,
something special about the love that they give that you don't get from anywhere else.
they started life attached.
Yeah, I mean, if you come from somebody, I mean, you walk around with this person in you for 9 months, you know, and how amazing is it, Shona, okay, you have the baby, you go through whatever um, most women go through, the pain or whatever they have to go through with the 9 months of morning sickness or just being, you know, uh, baby kicking and everything or not being able to sleep. And then you have that baby. I've seen it on so much. I don't know how dramatic that is, but the woman going through, especially with natural childbirth and going through all that pain and everything, and then the baby comes out and oh, I said, aren't you still
It
in
was
pain?
all worth all of the pain, all of the discomfort. It was all worth it when you
Yeah,
birth a
once
baby.
you see that, you know, and then to see that child just grow into, uh, in many cases, another you. you know,
Okay. Sometimes.
yeah, and you know how people say, "Oh, you look just like your mother." What? Well, I mean, she came out of me. Was you expect her to look like the neighbor? Oh,
Well,
wait a
no,
minute. Sometimes that
well,
happens.
child could look more like their father.
Yeah,
There were two sets of genes involved there.
yeah. And a lot of times it's a combination of, and then sometimes it's a spitting image. I've seen girls come out and look more like the dad than the mother. You know, in a feminine, feminine way. But but you don't care. Whatever. That's your child.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. But
Okay, I just wanted to touch on the mother thing because Mother's Day is one of the biggest holidays of the year.
yeah, because Father's Day comes and goes like like the wind. You know, it's
Well, actually, so does Mother's Day, but
all this
I'm
big
just
build up and But I think fathers are appreciated too. It's just been a running joke about how
And they
uh,
should be.
yeah, how mothers get more attention, and I think mothers should get. The mother can't have a child without the man, but the man is there, and he doesn't go through all the process of carrying and having the baby, but
Yes.
he still can step up and really be you know a big part of the growth of those children. In most
I,
cases, that's the case.
and I think that children need them both equally.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, yeah. It's a package deal, and it's so unfortunate sometimes. One or the other has to raise the children or a child by themselves, but you know that's something that you're not prepared for. But it's so often now a lot of people, even if they break up, it's good that you co-parent. Some people break up and hold that hostility against not against the
Yes.
kid, but the kid that's caught in the middle. You don't want you to see it, but you have to squash that. You don't have to like your former partner, but you have to love your children enough to make sure,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
we got to do this thing together.
Yes.
Yeah, but thank you and happy belated Mother's Day to you. And
Well, thank you.
yeah, wow.
Yes, it was lovely, like I said. Just being with, the children, the grandchildren, the great grandchildren. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
When you're a little girl growing up, is that something that's on your mind a lot? One day I'm gonna be a mother. I mean, is
Well,
it something that you just deal with it when you get to that point? Say, well, this is what
I
ladies
think
do. We give birth.
I think the reason that little girls like to play with baby dolls
Oh
is
yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's just inborn.
right.
It's just inborn from the time that you understand what the makeup of a family is. You watch your mother, and one day you want to be a mother too. And I know for me, I grew up with no sisters, so I always wanted a little girl
Yeah,
because I had sisters, and I ended up with two, and
you end up
I've
with
been
two.
happy.
What a blessing! And then on top of that, you
And
got
I
the
wanted a son, and God blessed me with that too.
yeah. I don't know too many guys around me when I was growing up. I can't wait to be a father. And it wasn't like we didn't think nothing was bad about it, but that
Right.
wasn't something that we talked about. I can't wait to be a father. As a matter of fact, I want to be a teenage father. But so that's just the difference between
Yeah.
male and females coming up. But it doesn't take away the fact that once we are fathers, we really take on that responsibility.
Yes.
Most of it. Thanks, Gary Harris, for your comment. Great show honoring our mothers. And, you know, at some point we all had them or we wouldn't be here. Some, yeah. And that's why, Shona, when I see, you know, I always, on Mother's Day or before Mother's Day, when I worked in retail and I saw a lot of people, I would always wish them, not knowing if they were mothers or not, I wish them a happy Mother's Day. And some of them would say,
Be
well, I'm not a
careful.
mother, but thank you. Or some
Yeah.
of them would just say thank you anyway, because I felt like most women are nurturing somebody. They either
That's
have a little
true.
sister or the neighbor's kid or something like that. So I give, you don't want to ask, are you a mother? Okay, happy Mother's Day. Just say it to everybody and let it slide like that.
Well, you just have to be careful, I'll say, because there are some women who would love to be mothers, but for whatever reason, they cannot
They
be.
can't.
So it may be a sensitive spot for them. It may be um, depressing on Mother's Day because it may remind them of something that has happened to negate them from being able to become a mother, or just a reminder that they cannot become a mother.
Okay, yeah, thanks. That's something to think about. So I'll try to be more mindful of that. I didn't think about saying that to some mothers. It
Right.
might hit a spot, um,
Also, they could have once been a mother,
lost.
could have lost a child,
Right.
either before at birth, or they could have reared a child to being grown and lost a child. So
Yeah.
it's
And,
a very depressing day for them.
yeah. Yeah.
So
And it
you do
could
have to
be
be careful.
it could be fine all year, but Mother's Day hits them. Like when we had the show about Christmas. So holidays
Yes.
hit people differently. Everybody thinks everybody is joyful
Yes.
and happy, and
It's not the
you
case.
know, but that's not the case for a lot of people. So. But you never know. You just try to be a good human being by
Exactly.
yeah. But there are some things you need to consider, especially when you're saying that to people you don't really know. And and,
Exactly.
and, and I will keep that in mind next time when I'm when I'm just thanking everybody or giving everybody a happy Mother's Day when I don't really know if that's something that
Yeah.
might not
So
be the best thing to say for that person.
maybe you could say Happy Mother's Day if you're a mother and keep it
And
going.
as a matter of fact, that's what I would say. I don't know why I didn't bring that up because that's what I stopped doing that for some reason. But that's what I used to do. I would always say Happy Mother's Day if you're a mother, and most of the answer I got most time, I am, and thank you. You know, and so that's a safe way of doing it. But you still have to be careful there. You still might catch somebody wrong.
Yes.
But,
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
thanks for that. I guess sometimes coming from someone that and I've known people that have been through that.
Mm. Um,
And
I'd also,
we had a guest on the show maybe last month that have been through that.
yes, yes, and a special shout out to those mothers who are not biologically connected to the people they are raising. That's very special. They are mothers nonetheless. It may be a stepchild, it may be an adopted child. That's very special because
Trying to get one
you're choosing to raise a child that you did not give birth to.
right.
Then that is very special. Everybody is not qualified to do that.
Yeah, and it's amazing too how many people, and we talked about this on our adoption shows. Amazing how many people that actually really want kids, but it's not. They find out it's not medically possible,
Yes.
and they end up adopting, or they end up childless and have to accept that. But they just put their energies into maybe their nephews or you know, uh, family members or someone in the neighborhood or and I always, well,
And I'd also like to say that there are those people, women who are more of a mother to some children than their own mothers. And I feel like um, they are chosen to do that because if they had children of their own, then they couldn't be that special person in the life of a young person that they have elected to, spoil from a distance. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Then they wouldn't have that person in their life. So there's a place for everybody. And if you're not biologically a mother, then you definitely can be a mother figure to someone. And that makes you very special.
Indeed. Wow. You just caught me off guard with the, I'm thinking I'm doing a good thing by, wishing everybody a happy Mother's Day and not thinking that, how that might affect some people. But, it's something that I needed to hear to make me think about it. I don't know why I didn't think about it before. It might be, really. So I hope others out there, other than myself, take that under advisement.
Yes, and they know you mean well. I had someone to wish me a happy Mother's Day before I left work last Friday. And of course, I blurted back to them, well, happy Mother's Day to you too. After I said it, I realized that this woman was a mother and she had lost her son. I think he may have been maybe 18, 19 when he passed away, but I had forgotten that at that moment until after, you know, I I reciprocated with Happy Mother's Day. You just have to be careful.
Yeah.
And that was her only child, and he was gone.
Mm.
So
Well,
yes,
yeah. Like I
so we
said, you
made it
caught me
to
off
Mother's
guard, but
Day.
some things are hard lessons. But anyway, but still, the joy of motherhood is nothing like it, I'm sure, and it's nothing like just being a parent in general and watching the seeds that you brought into this world grow and become adults, and hopefully they will take some of the advice that you gave them. They might not like it as teenagers or as young kids, but as they grow older, they'll realize that you only had their best interests in mind when you were trying to tell them what to do and what not to do. And and remember that sometimes parents they're learning on the job as well,
Always.
especially with your first child and even with the second and third, because there are different things happening when you have those other children. I'm sure you can. I just had one, but I'm sure you can say, okay, well, I'm a vet now. I have a second child, but things are a little different now. The first
They're
one
all
did
so
this, and
different
this one
from
is
each
doing that.
other. They're all so different from each other. That's amazing.
But anyway, I want to talk a little bit about some of our future guests while we're here, and well, tomorrow night, like I mentioned earlier, and we're having a return guest. Now, this is her second time on this on our take on it, but she has been on Portsmouth Coffee Talk two other times. So she has been dealing with her adoption for a long time. And to give you a little history, she was born. Well, she was raised here in the city of Portsmouth. Went to Manor High School, and she's like a Asian African American. Uh, she's Korean and African American mixed, and she wanted to find out about her roots. So she, her children knew, realized that she was, had this urge to know more about where she came from and who exactly she is. So they sponsored a trip for her. Hey, Keith Brown, how you doing? Thanks for watching. They sponsored a trip for her to go back to Korea and sort of find out uh, some things about her life. And she found out she was an orphan and found out about her mother. Her mother had passed, and then found out later who her dad was, who was in the military and African American, and found out she had sisters. Uh, he didn't know about her, and they eventually got together. And she's a AKA sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, and two of her sisters were in that same organization, and that was really amazing. But anyway, she wanted to know more, and she was working, and when she finally retired, she said she was going to go back and spend some extended time there, really trying to find herself, to put it in simple terms, who she really is, her Korean side. She
Yeah.
had lived in a black community, went to HBCU, went to a mostly black high school. So she experienced that part of her. And like we talked about on the show, she is both of those. You know how people try to make you got to choose one or the other. Are you going to be Korean or are you going to be black? And why can't I be both of them? Because that's what I am. But you can't be both of them if you really don't know much about your heritage on the other side, and that's what she's doing now. And she's going to come back tomorrow, and
Yeah.
she's back in the states. Um, she lives in California. She can come on tomorrow and give us an update on even more information she found out about
That's going to
herself
be
and her family.
exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah, I got a little short here. If you don't remember, if some of the people watching,
Yes, let's see.
let's see if I can get it up. Oops, moving a little slow.
Be anyone who
Okay, there we are. Did I lose it again?
I haven't heard
Hold
anything yet.
when I was working with the
Okay.
book. I am Tracy Hewitt Hobson on Facebook. Feel free to message me, whatever. I'll be happy to answer. On Instagram, I'm a little bit more hidden. um, truly person, truly understand to never let anyone silence their voice. That everyone's worth, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I know you
Tracy.
don't want to give out phone numbers or anything like that. Do you have a Facebook ID or something of that nature? If there happen to be anyone who has some questions about their life, similar to the ones that you had about your life, if they could reach out to you.
Absolutely. I am on Facebook. I am Tracy Hudson on Facebook. Feel free to message me, whatever. I'll be happy to answer. On Instagram, I'm more, um, it is
Yeah, I think that one was a little choppy when she was doing it there near the
After all,
end. But
she was live in Seoul, Korea when we spoke with her.
yeah, yeah, she was out of the country. She was so
Yes.
to get what we
We
could from her. Mostly we got her voice. The picture was dark, and but we got her voice. And please come and watch tomorrow night at 7
we
on
went
our
global,
YouTube
y'all.
and channel and Facebook pages, and you'll hear an update. I'm sure some amazing things. Imagine going back after living over here since you were about, I can't remember how old she was, but
What,
she was a little girl,
four
about
years old?
4 years old. And then going back after you retired, uh, she was an executive of a corporate company, um, business executive, and when she retired, to go back and pretty much follow or find your roots in another country. I
Yes.
can't imagine doing that, but from what she said last time, people were really receptive and willing to help her in any way she can. And she has some professional uh, organizations helping her uh, follow her roots and find out things about her family and just get to know about her heritage. So that's what she'll talk about tomorrow. What she's done. I think she's been over there about a year now. Was that about a year ago when we talked to her?
Wow. We getting old. Our
But
take on it is getting old. I love it.
yeah,
I do have to give special props to her children for supporting her and encouraging her, and even um, actually giving her the trip to go back there to find her roots. That's very impressive. That's very special.
yeah.
That's all about love.
It's all about love, and it sort of connects with what we were talking about motherhood because
Yes.
they
Yes.
saw it in her, and she even talked about some of the things they had to go through as mixed of a mixed heritage as well, and
That ties in very well with Mother's Day.
yeah, and they just wanted to make sure their uh, mother's journey was supported by them.
Yes. So that's our Mother's Day version of celebration for this month of May. But I would like to also mention that May is also Lupus Awareness Month, and we're going to be having a special guest on next week. Um, in that vein, she does have lupus. Not only does she have lupus, she just retired as a nurse, so she can talk to us about the clinical standpoint as well. So that should be very interesting.
Yeah,
So
lupus.
hang with us. We got some stuff coming for you.
Yeah, lupus is a really uh, complicated disease. A lot of people, it's different degrees of it, and hopefully, well, I know she'll talk more about that. Some people have it, and it's not as bad, but it can be. And some people really, really have problems from it,
Yes.
and yeah, and she will give us some information from, like you said, the clinical side, and just being a patient as well.
Yes.
So we get two for one there. And she's someone that we both known for a long time, you know,
Yes.
and it's nice to have someone we know.
She's my birthday twin.
Oh yeah. Okay, so you just told me how old she was. I never knew how old she was. Now I know.
She's my
Yeah, I know.
birthday. We were
But
born the very same day.
we also have another guest coming on, and the only time he can come on is Monday. And if that's okay, Shona, I know, Shona, I'm extending these days more and more. It's a win. Here we are on a Wednesday, no, Tuesday, and we're going to be here tomorrow and the Wednesday, next week, Monday and Tuesday. But
Yes.
yeah, his name is Dr. Rick. Um, oops, uh, Randall, Dr. Rick Randall, and you might know, some people might know his mother and his father, Marlene Randall. She was a city councilman here in the city of Portsmouth. But before that, she was a longtime educator in elementary schools, a principal, and everybody she taught were her babies. My babies. She always talked about her babies, and she was one of those nurturing teachers. Even when she went into administration, she was still had that nurturing thing about her in the elementary school. And he, uh, and then she that was convinced to run for city council. And she served as vice mayor of city council. So it was really appropriate for her to be there because most of the people she dealt with while she was on city council were her
She had,
students
oh, wow.
and her
Oh, I'm
babies, as
looking
she
forward
called
to
them.
that too.
Yeah, and Mr. Randall, his daddy, was an educator as well, and a football coach, basketball coach, well known in the city of Portsmouth. For
Was he a vice principal at one point?
Yeah, Yeah. Uh, they used to
Okay.
call
Okay.
him Rocky. Rocky was his name. Vernon
Oh,
Randall was his name. He was
yes. I
yeah
remember. I remember that.
yeah. All he was one of those principals that stayed in shape, and all the girls liked him. But he was
Okay.
dedicated to Marlene. So but anyway, this Ricardo is his name, and we call him Ricky. And I've known him since he was a little guy. Now he's Doctor Ricardo Randall, and he teaches over at Hampton University, or he works over in Hampton University. And he's been on the show before. He wants to come on and talk about Black excellence. Uh, he feels like there needs to be more done or conversations with our young people about Black excellence. And feels
Yes.
like a lot of times when you say that, some students run away from it because they think they might have to give up something, especially in the college level. In order to be excellent and Black, you can't have that same college life that a lot of college students like to have. But you can have that. That's all a part of the experience. But as long as you prioritize why you're there and just creating Black excellence. And he wants to come on and talk about that in certain programs that he's been involved with that speak to that. So Dr.
Looking
Ricardo
forward to that.
Randall will be on. Uh, and
But we have so much to look forward to.
we have a lot to look
Just
forward to, and other
we're
people
going.
that will in the future will be coming on to talk to us. We like to share information. We like to have fun up here too, but we
We
like to
do.
share information. And don't forget, we're gonna have from time to time our classmates. That's when we really have fun, when we can have our classmates up here and go back in time and talk about what we did then and what we're doing now. And a lot of our classmates end up doing some things that uh, giving back to society in a way that uh, they were influenced when they were younger. We were influenced when we were younger by our teachers or by people in our neighborhoods, people we saw from afar, and we just took that and sort of used it as we got older, and just sort of gave back to the community like they gave to us, the village they used to call it.
I just thought about this that one of the reasons that I joined Facebook
Mm,
when it was first developed was to connect with my family in Virginia,
mm.
um, to know when, new babies are born, what's going on in the lives of my relatives. For for those of you who do not know, I left Virginia abruptly, and there has been a big gap in time. Actually, probably close to 40 years now. So, like I said, that gave me an opportunity to connect with the lives of my family and loved ones in Portsmouth, Virginia. So, that having been said, it just dawned on me that one of the reasons that I am so involved with this podcast is it reconnects me with my classmates as well, the same way that Facebook did for my family and myself. So I get a lot of enjoyment out of having our classmates on because I get to find out what they've been doing in all of this time. So, we're working a bit more, but it's all so much fun for me. I love it.
Yeah, something I forgot to do, something I want to try out here in this StreamYard system. You can put a poll up. You like to ask questions, so
Uh-huh.
it should show a question here. Um, I knew we were going to talk about the Supreme Court decision, and I
Yes.
put a question up there. Will you continue to vote after the Supreme Court decision? And I was really talking about the U.S. Supreme Court decision where they sort of gutted the Voting Rights Act. and something that going back to this again, but something that we fought for, or our ancestors, or our that can't call them all ancestors because some of the people are still living today that fought for a long time, and I just want to know because people saying, "Well, I'm not going to vote anymore because what matter? How does it? It doesn't matter because look what they did." But
You can't.
the U.S. Supreme Court and the Virginia Supreme Court, if you feel like you probably don't want to vote anymore, take this poll, answer that question, so we can look at it later and see. You might not have that much time. I should have put it up earlier because this is a new thing that this has. So
Okay.
remind me, Shona, because you often have questions um,
Yes.
that you like to ask, and
And
we can use this system to do it.
yes, and our viewers tend to be so shy they don't want to respond. We got to change that.
Yeah, but I think this is probably a better way, rather than letting them think about. You say it and they think about it. It'll be up there for them to see, and might not get much response from this because it's not much
Like it.
time for us to go. But
I like
I'll make
that. Okay.
sure that I'll flash
We'll
it in
use
the
it a
beginning.
lot. We will utilize that a lot more. Thank you, James.
Yeah, thanks.
And please take advantage of the poll. Answer. Give us some answers. And please give us the answer that I want. We can't stick our head in the sand. We have to vote. We have to vote. Please, we have to vote.
Yeah, if you don't give us the answer that we want, we're gonna dismiss you. Like a lot of them doing. If the people don't win that they don't like, they just it's where the governor in Louisiana, he didn't like the way the election turned out. He just stopped the election. Just and they feel empowered to do that now because somebody else is doing it on a higher level. So he's getting away with it. So forget the law. Let's just do what I want to do and make sure
Mm,
we don't lose this majority in midterms. And that's why it's so important. That's why we keep saying if we don't talk about it extensively like we did tonight about the importance of voting, we will probably each show mention it. Just say make sure you vote, make sure you stay motivated to vote. During the
yes,
midterms and any primaries coming up, you have to take those primaries serious too.
those are important too.
Yeah, yeah. You can always find time. They give you plenty of time to do it, even though they're trying to stop early voting as well, because it's such an advantage. So
Remember how massive the voter turnout was when President Obama ran? Um, well, he wouldn't have been able to run if people didn't vote midterm elections before he ran for president. That wouldn't have happened. So it is very, very important to vote for all elections, not just the big ones, because the small ones definitely affect the big ones.
yes, indeed, we have to keep that in mind. And it's 8 o'clock, and we're gonna get out of here. But remember to watch the
Yes,
title of the show is
Tracy.
a soul full of thanks. And you see how that's what she is in Seoul, Korea. And it serves as two meanings spelled differently. The soul, Soul, and Seoul, the city, where she is doing her discovery over there in Korea. So make sure you tune in again tomorrow night as we have
Yes,
our
we
special
can't.
guest,
Yes,
Tracy Hewitt Hobson. And of course, she is Virginia Union grad here. I guess you can see that. Anyway,
Uh,
so we expect a lot of you alums from Virginia Union to tune in, as well as you AKAs. We want to see your face in the place, and please participate by
uh-huh.
either making comments to her. So if you have any questions for her, please text them during the show because we're going to be live, or it might be someone that might want to come on the show and join us. We did that last show. We brought somebody in that happened to be watching, and she had a lot to say. She happened to be one of our classmates,
Very
and
valuable information she
yeah,
shared.
yeah, she came in and fell right in. But if you want to come on, you know, please come on. And you might have had a similar experience or something like that. But if not, if you had not did or something like that, and you're not proper to come on camera from here up, so just make your comments in there if you have any questions, or add your comments and let us know you're out there uh, watching and enjoying the content that we're providing for you on our take on it.
Man, that
Somebody,
hour went quickly.
yeah, well, especially when you're rumbling around.
Well, I don't think it was so much rambling around. We covered
No, we
some good
weren't. We
stuff.
weren't. Uh we were talking, and I think it's so important because we knew when we started this we weren't going to always have guests, and sometimes we just have to come up here and we know a little bit about what we want to talk about, but we wanted to kind of stay away from the total prepared canned speeches, but sometimes you just have to have a slight outline of what you want to talk about, and other times you just start talking, and what comes
We're
out,
just kicking.
yeah, we just kicking it, and that's what it's all about. It's just our take on it,
That's
and I
our
want to
take.
again thank Shona for coming up with that name. I mean, it's just as soon as she said it, it just hit. I mean, what can we call it? Because it was going to be Slim and Shona or Shona and Slim podcast or something like that, but you know our take on it just takes on a, a very important meaning to
It
me
does.
because it's just the way we feel, or people come on, it's the way they feel, and some people come on and have expert opinions, and that's fine too. But it's still our take on it, whatever
Our take.
subject we're talking about. We hope you continue to join us and help us grow and make sure. I want to. I have to do. I don't know what.
Subscribe.
Yeah, Shona, you can close us out.
All right. Make sure that you subscribe while it's free because as we grow, you just don't know. Okay. Subscribe, like, and share.
And please share
Subscribe,
if you,
like, and share.
yeah, especially if you have people that are outside of the states that we are coming from, Georgia
Mhm.
and Virginia, because a lot of things in different other states or cities are pretty similar to what we're experiencing. So we always have something in common, even though you might be in Utah. Well,
And
well,
could
you
help
still
someone.
might be some things in common. We might have with Utah or Oklahoma or California, New Mexico. I don't know about Alaska, but and we'll take that too. So share
Never
the
know.
information. You have family
Never
all over the
know.
United States. Make sure you
People
share with us and
people in
participate with us.
Alaska experience some of the same things that we experience.
Oh yeah,
Have some of the same conditions. Yes. We're gonna include Alaska.
yeah. Okay. I don't know. That and that was what was the what she ran for vice president Palin, and that when she was governor.
Oh, Sarah Palin.
Sarah Palin. Okay, she's
I
old
would
news
just like to say I really have nothing in common with her. No, I'm just kidding.
There's some other people there's other people there in Alaska that we can probably associate with, but
She's not the only one there,
she's not the only one there.
but she's special.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
that's what we have for you tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed us. Please tune in tomorrow night. It's going to be very interesting to speak with Tracy to get an update from her um, as she has returned to the United States from Seoul, Korea. I can't wait to hear what has happened since then. So join us tomorrow at 7. And don't forget, subscribe, like, and share.
Yeah. Indeed. Uh-oh. So she has one more thing to say.
The second thing that I'd like to ask you is having gone back to country.
It is beautiful. There are days now. I will say this. I have cried a lot of days since I've been here, right? And what was interesting is one of the things that I was told when I was working with the agencies and letting them know that I'm going to cry every day for the first 90 days. And I thought, that's impossible. There's no way. That's crazy. But I have cried a lot of tears. And I posted this statement that said, those tears have been kind of like, they've been a lot of relief for me. And the tears haven't all been sadness. I mean, there's some days, yes. I'm sad because I was so reluctant to come back. I was so afraid to come back. What was it about it that I was so fearful of? What did I think was going to occur? The other tears, though, have been because I did it.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So you're getting more of that. Wasn't that amazing? She said one of the
Yes.
reasons she cried or she didn't go back was because she hadn't been back in a long time, and that was, all that time she was wondering and quietly suffering from not knowing who she really was. Knowing she looked different from everybody else in the community, and they never kept her adoption that she was adopted away from her, and they encouraged her parents, her adopted parents, or her parents. They encouraged her to know about her culture as much as they could share with her. So please come back tomorrow night and get an update. I'm sure it's going to be a lot more to what that. And I apologize for the Wi-Fi of that. But I think you got the gist of what she was saying about uh, how she felt about going back to the country and how emotional it was for her to go back. And
She was in Korea then when she was speaking.
right, right, that's amazing. All right, everybody, I held you long enough. I just had to get that in, and hopefully that would encourage you even more to tune in tomorrow night and
Yeah.
participate with us. Or if you only just watch. All right. We're going for real this time. Take care. We appreciate you. And be aware, be informed, and most of all, just be involved.
Be
S-
involved.
See you next time.